Muffins. Welcome back to channel. Subscriber request for the E25, a tank that honestly you could very easily put yourself in a bad situation. So I'll go through that. I have a tips and tricks playlist. If you're struggling with the tanker aspect of the game, shoot over there. Hopefully there's a video that can help you out. But diving right into the E25. So the E25 is an excellent tank. However, its strengths can be its weakness. With its speed and maneuverability, I've seen a lot of people play with this tank almost as if they would a light or a medium tank, which you've got to be careful of. Because the number one thing you cannot forget with the E25 that is a result of people continually putting themselves in a bad situation with this thing is, number one, you are a tank destroyer. You cannot forget that role. Playing the E25, you're playing a supportive role. You're wanting to be there, kind of put yourself in positions to provide that suppressive fire, to provide that cover fire, putting yourself in ways that while their medium and light tanks are on the front lines, they're doing their spotting, they're doing their job, and the heavy tanks are on those front lines in the trenches, side scraping or whatever, and you're trying to get that bird's eye view of the landscape on your team and continually moving around and about and positioning yourselves to pay attention to what's going on around you and just seeing how you can be of support to your team. So I would say that is probably number one right off the bat. The E25 strengths, it has an excellent DPM, great reload, very fast, very maneuverable. However, you don't have very much armor in this thing. You will easily get penned. As a matter of fact, you can't even get HE'd in this thing and get quite deleted. So in a lot of positions on how I'm positioning myself with the E25 is, number one, I put myself in a place that I can get somewhat of a good bird's eye view of where my team is. Using that maneuverability and speed, I can get there actually quite quickly. And I heavily rely on the landscape, the rocks, every buildings, stay close to protect myself. At any moment I become the center focus of an enemy, I immediately want to get behind a building, back up, just because they will most likely pen me. Now the E25 also has an excellent camo rating, so which means by shooting your cannon, positioning yourself either behind bushes or somewhat, it's going to be harder for enemies to detect you. Now, if someone's really close, that's obviously going to increase their chances of detecting you. But I see my friend over here, my Tiger P, who needs help, had this light tank come up on him. I want to rush over there and help him as much as possible. So there's a difference between camping and effective sniping, and this is how you want to do effective sniping. Paying attention to the map, paying attention to what's going on with your teammates, looking for sometimes those weak links or chains. And this is where the E25 can really shine, is because you have that speed and maneuverability. I was able to quickly get over and help my Tiger P. I'm quickly going over and adjusting on distracted targets. And anytime, even like that smasher, I definitely don't want to get hit by, I'm now backing up, getting myself right behind cover. And so I'm always paying attention and making sure I don't want to become the center focus, but that I'm trying to help my team in terms of what they're trying to do and when they're going about the map. So not forgetting that supportive role. I have, like I said, the speed and maneuverability with this thing can end up being a little tricky. And when having so much power flexibility, I see people running in like a light or medium tank, putting themselves in a position where they would a light tank or medium tank. But the problem with that is you're actually putting yourself in a position to expose your weakness to what a light or medium tank would be doing, which those tank strengths are their view range. So you're, as a destroyer, don't have the best view range. So you'd be putting yourself in a spot to get detected much earlier than them. So here and going into the second replay, once again, I'm trying to put myself in a position to be a supportive role. I figured most likely our team would go right just because they have slightly more light tanks, but I'm going over here to the right, putting myself in a way, just getting some of this stuff out of my way to try and help them shoot down range, do what I can to help them while they're up on the front lines and spotting some of the enemies. And I'm not just to sit in camp. So I'm still trying to help my team. I'm paying attention where they're. I keep zooming out and I see this light tank coming up right over here behind my team. So I want to zoom in. He's distracted. He's not paying attention to me. And I wanted to try to hit him and get him out of there to help my team and my heavies. So once again, I'm looking for those opportunities for support, looking for ways to help my team. Now, this is a perfect example of what you don't want to actually do with an E25, because now I am the center focus, and you can see just how much my hit point pool, which is with tank destroyers, is typically smaller than some other types of tanks, but I end up getting hit multiple times being that center attention of focus. What I should have done is let me be the supportive role to the T49 in terms of what he was going to do. And then if he wanted to decide to move in, I could go in and support him. So I ended up kind of doing a little bit of role confusion and putting myself on the front lines. So the other thing too is I play on iOS and I use a lot of the third person view. So before coming around corners, looking for those places to take shots, use that third person view before popping around corners to see if enemies are focusing on you, because if they are, most of the time you don't want to do a damage exchange, because the E25, even though it has a great DPM, it does a very low amount of damage per shot, and most tanks will do a greater average damage to you compared to what you can do to them. So just a couple quick games here, hopefully some tips that can help you guys out when playing this tank. Muffin here, stay cool and keep tanking.